Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toy Geeks. My name is Jake Laffelter from Geek Dad Life.
And I'm Dan Larson from Secret Galaxy.
And we're here to dive into your favorite toy lines 1 year at a time. And we have arrived at season 2.
Hey,
we
got renewed.
It was touch and go. A lot of negotiations.
I appreciate you taking less money to keep the show rolling because I got more. So
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. It's funny. We kind of took a break. Comic-Con was happened, and that was it. It was your first Comic-Con?
It was great. It was fantastic. I had a blast. It was really, really cool. I thought for sure we'd have some time, just like a little bit of time to like hang out, grab lunch, just whatever, pop outside for a few minutes. But it was like, hey, Jay, later.
Yeah. I mean, we had a decent amount of time on the floor. That's pretty good for Comic-Con. If you have 5 minutes to like stand somewhere and chat, like that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Everybody, it's funny because everybody's doing the same thing, right? Like, oh, I gotta go hit this booth, I'm gonna go hit that booth, I'm gonna go see this thing, I'm gonna go take these pictures, go see these toys. But everybody's on a different schedule and everybody's on a different rotation of when they're doing those things. So you're lucky if your circle crosses over with somebody else's circle, and you have it.
I think we ran into each other at the Hasbro booth, I believe.
We were right outside Hasbro, yeah. I think wasn't that when Emily yelled at everybody to get out of the way because they were bringing out the HasLab?
Listen, Emily I trust.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
like yeah, exactly. When she says to get the hell out of the booth, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good Comic-Con year. It was a ton of fun. But so like, did it? Because you've been to other conventions, like you're not new to this thing. This was your first time at like the Comic-Con. Did it meet or exceed, or was it not meet your expectations?
It's tough because over the years, my expectations of it have shifted. You know, when I was going to conventions, you know, back in the late 90s and early 2000s, you know, Comic-Con was still about comics.
Yes, sure.
You know, that was still, as far as I understand, I wasn't there, so I don't know for sure, but that was still the real thrust of that show. And then there's sort of this middle period where it was more about movies, it was more about Marvel and Star Wars and the big announcements and the big movie stars and whatever. And I feel like while there is still a degree of that would sort of pass that real peak of that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I know George Lucas was there, but you know, whatever.
I'm glad I didn't go. I heard it wasn't that good of a panel.
Yeah, I just, the idea of, you know, I'm only in San Diego for so much time, right? Like a couple of days. I'm not spending that much of my time standing in a line.
Exactly.
Get out of here.
I had friends that did it, like, hey, do you want to, like, we're lining up Saturday because it was on Sunday, we're lining up. And there's like, nah, it's like, he's going to talk about his museum. He's not going to talk about Star Wars.
No.
And sure enough, they waited like 5 hours. They got their badges or their wristbands, but they didn't even like get let in the right order. It was a chaos on Sunday. And they said, yeah, he didn't even talk. They wouldn't even allow him to talk about Star Wars stuff. And I was like, yep.
No, there's nothing I can think of that I would want to wait in line that long for at a show like that, where I could just be out on the floor, just talking to friends, saying hi to people, taking another picture of a Ninja Turtle or something, you know? Whatever. But it was really fun. I had a blast, obviously hanging out with my case. He's been there a bajillion times.
Yep.
You know, standard comic convention, kind of standard convention, you know, but you did have a lot of those sort of big names. Hasbro's there, you know, Mattel's there, Mondo's there, Four Horsemen were there. That was really cool. So there was plenty of stuff to do, plenty of stuff to see. We caught Fantastic Four. We went and saw the movie I think Saturday night, maybe.
I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you gotta go see, obviously.
I've heard nothing, but I just haven't like, actually, what am I saying? I went and saw Jaws last weekend. Put back on theater, but like,
yeah, it's down to your life choices, right?
But
have you seen Superman?
I saw Superman. Love Superman.
Okay. Superman was great. Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Love Superman. But it's just sometimes those Comic-Con movies, like if I don't see it that weekend, but it's such a big weekend, and then I get back home like I just need to like veg for like
no, I appreciated that. Superman was on you know, you could watch from home, so I caught that on Amazon.
Nice.
Just the other day I watched Thunderbolts for the first time. That was on Disney
really
Plus.
Good, right?
It was unexpected. It was
right.
Unexpected. Obviously the sort of twist ending had been spoiled, the asterisk had been spoiled, but no, it was very good. And I will say, without trying not to spoil anything for anybody who hasn't seen Thunderbolts and Superman, and Fantastic Four, I guess, for that matter, is this the shift in positivity
Mm-hmm.
and the ways that these heroes are overcoming the foes
Mm-hmm.
was refreshing.
Agreed.
This one.
Agreed. Especially the world we live in today. It's
Yep.
felt good.
Yeah.
And it feels good to feel good for brief moments in
Yeah.
time.
That's what it's all about, right? Escapism.
Exactly.
The fantasy world that doesn't exist. You can solve your problems with hugs.
But yeah, no, so glad you got to go. So glad to see you there and to have fun. We did our party, the big Toy Tubers party, which
That was a blast. Yeah.
was fun.
Really, thank you guys
Oh yeah.
for arranging that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that it didn't cost you any money out of your pocket. Everything worked out perfectly.
Slowly gonna chip away at that debt. That's just there. A business expense. But it wasn't.
That was my only complaint. You and I have already talked about that. Like, man, 2 hours more, 3 hours more would have been great. Just more time to chat with people. I didn't even get to do any bowling. That was
I know. No, I don't think
really
anybody
pissed
did the
about that.
bowling. Nobody did the bowling. Yeah, I think hopefully we'll try and make it something like that happen next year. But ideally we'll just have like a panel somewhere else that isn't in a bar. Like
Yeah.
and then we'll just have like a party to hang out and
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll figure out something. But
It was fun though. It was a lot of fun, and thank you guys for putting that together.
It was cool to have so many people like in the same
Yeah,
room,
absolutely.
That was kind of the neat part about
People
it.
were passing out, literally.
Yes. But we are back, season 2, and kicking off with an all-timer of a toy line. Would you call this one of the we defined the holy trinity of the 80s toy brand line?
It has to be,
right?
yeah.
It's G.I. Joe, this, and Motu. Is that the
Yeah, I mean, we can call it Mount Rushmore if you want, just to throw one more in there.
Okay. Yeah.
Either way. But yeah, G.I. Joe, Transformers. I would put Star Wars in there. Did you say Star Wars?
No, I didn't say Star Wars, but that's probably right. That it's of that, like, defined the genre that we still collect.
Yeah, I guess you have to have Motu in there too.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think
okay.
if it's Mount Rushmore,
that's the 4,
which is nice. Yeah.
Fearsome
4, but Transformers is, well, we did Star Wars Power of the Force 2, but we haven't done the 80s Star Wars.
No, yeah.
But G1 Transformers it is, and especially out of those, well, again, can we leave Star Wars out of it, but like out of like the true 80s properties of Motu, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, Transformers is the one that has had the most sustained cultural relevance after the fact too.
Sure enough, yeah.
Which is, again, if you get it kind of wild out of those 3, but it's true. And again,
I would also say global.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fascinating toy line just because it's a bit of a kit bash, right? And you've covered this on your channel a lot. Even recently did like was it the Microman?
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, it's just such a fascinating toy line, fascinating iconography that was adapted for American audiences, and it's still very strong today.
It's just weird. It's such a weird formula of, like you just said, the sort of different toy lines coming together, literally a mythology created just to market these, from another country, right? Like, wasn't even created in the US. Just the mythology was born here, but the toys were born over there. And that the mythology ended up taking over the whole thing, right?
Yes.
And then ultimately the toy manufacturer ends up making new toys specifically for that mythology.
Yeah.
Just a weird way for that to come around.
And there's nothing really else like that, right? It's
I would say maybe Power Rangers fits that, born in following the same pattern, created in Japan, all that stuff, imported, rebranded. And then, that one year, Mighty Morphin, Jew Ranger becomes the sort of core of the franchise. And now today, Playmates has just put out their first batch of new toys based on a TV show from 40 years ago.
It's wild. We'll have to do MMPR at some point, I would think, but it's I guess let's go back in time, or let's talk about our context for these two toy lines, because we've talked about before about 10 years between us, 9 years between us, age wise, and so you know, that this toy line probably means different things, obviously, for both of us. But I have personal memories of this toy line in the 80s and into the 90s. But what was Transformers for you growing up?
Interesting because Transformers hits the US in 84.
Yeah. Yep.
But, transforming toys and Diaclone, one of the
Yeah,
toy
you were in
line.
Japan
I
before
was in
this?
Japan from 80 to 82. I'm
Okay.
back in the US by 83. And so
And Diaclone
83,
launched in 80, right?
well, all of that stuff is on the shelves in the US at that time. So you have
That's
Diaclone,
right.
Diaclone knockoffs. You have things, the Gobots,
Mhm.
pre-Gobots, Machine Robo stuff is out there.
Yeah.
All of those Japanese toys are already hitting shelves either as rebranded actual toys or as
Mhm.
knockoffs of those actual
Yeah.
toys. And having lived in Japan at that time, I already had a bunch of that stuff before it hits the US, not
Okay.
Transformers. Well,
Yeah.
I had a Macross Valkyrie, which,
Mhm.
Jetfire is
Yes.
notoriously
Yep.
a Robotech jet. But I had the gray version, not the
Mhm.
actual white one that
Yep.
was Jetfire. But I had that toy. And so I had a bunch of Machine Robo, which become Gobots,
Mhm.
and then other toys. Voltron, I already had Voltron, Go Lion.
Wow.
So it was very weird to come back to the US and see this stuff hitting as brand new toys with different names,
Mhm.
cartoons, all this other support, and being like, I already have some of this stuff. That's weird.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll get some of it new.
So
But
you didn't have
I'm
like a hipster approach of like, "This isn't the real thing." You
no,
okay.
because I was too young,
Sure.
like I born in 76, so I'm 8 years old in 84.
Mhm.
It's still, the world is like, oh, I guess this is just how things work. It's neat
Mhm.
that I already had some of these toys and it's all coming over to the US now. And what's next? What's the next cool toy? So there was some, you know, prior knowledge of it before it hits, but once it hits,
Mhm.
I'm just as excited about it as everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah, was there any confusion for, like, the rebrand at all, or just, like, a little, or did it even not even matter? It's like, "Ah, it's just whatever they're calling it now."
No, because I really knew more about the because the actual ones that became Transformers,
Mhm.
Megatron, Convoy,
Yeah.
all of that stuff, even the, like, Shockwave or Reflector, those sorts of things, Sunstreaker,
Mhm.
those things either hadn't quite hit yet in Japan when I was there,
Okay.
or were hitting as we were sort of leaving. So I didn't really
Mhm.
know quite about them yet.
Yeah.
The Microman stuff and the Diaclone stuff, some of that before the sort of car robots thing hits, those were the things that I was familiar with. Those were the things that my friends were playing with. So if Microman proper, the 3 3/4 inch figures, if that's what had become Transformers, then yeah, I would have been like, I've been seeing this stuff for the last 3 years. I saw
Yeah.
this stuff 3 years ago,
Yeah,
and it would
yeah.
have been real weird. But it was still things that I hadn't really seen yet that were coming out as Transformers. So they were just as new to me as they were to anybody else.
Did you have, like, any extra street cred with your friends? Or like, "Oh, yeah, you need to get into these because like, we have these in Japan," or whatever? Did you have any of that kinda angle
Well,
with your
so
friends?
not specifically with Transformers, but with the other things that were coming over. So,
Okay.
there was one year there where, every day I would go to school, I would have a backpack full of toys. My backpack weighed like 35 pounds because I had a full, die-cast Voltron, all
Yeah,
five
that's heavy.
lions. Yeah, I had, the different the robots from the various Super Sentai shows, the,
Mhm.
pre Power Rangers kinds of shows, and those are all combining robots as well. Gundam and whatever else. It's all die-cast robots. I had like 35 pounds of die-cast robots in my backpack. And so recess would hit and I would be like doling out, all the Transformers and stuff to people. You're the Red Lion, you're Gundam, you're whatever. And of course, everything comes back to me, broken, missing pieces and whatever. And, when I think back now, I'm like, idiot, stupid, trying to buy popularity on the playground.
Did it work at least?
For a little bit, for 1 year, because then the following year, some other kid who had just lived in Japan and his dad was in the Navy, he shows up with the next batch of new stuff, and all of a sudden I'm,
He stole your whole flow. He
yeah, I'm
took the whole
Captain
thing.
1983, he's Captain 1984.
Do you remember that kid's name?
Yeah, Jamie Brower,
Jamie
if
Brower.
he's listening.
You ruined it for
Yeah,
Tim.
yeah.
What about the Marvel comics, the cartoon show? Like, did it all, like, were you into all of it, or were you just like, I really just like the toys? Like, what were you kind of?
Cartoon for sure. Yeah, no, I watched it every day. G.I. Joe Transformers was the, doubleheader every day after school. Absolutely watched that. The comics, I didn't really care that much for. G.I. Joe, I read the comics, but I think I was actually still a little too young to really understand the comics because it was written to a different, I don't want to say maturity level, but the story wasn't the same. The characters weren't quite the same. I didn't love the artwork in the comics even then. And my brother, who's 2 years older than me, he was really more into the comics. He was reading those. So I would sort of read them and check them out secondhand. That was at the point where I didn't even realize that there were comics where a story could continue from month to month. I just thought comics were like you go to the store and one day there's a new book there. I didn't know they were monthly. I didn't. I was 8 years old,
Yeah.
And you just spin the rack until you find a cover you like and you buy that one. If it's Captain America, if it's G.I. Joe, if it's whatever, you go buy the cover and that's sort of where I was at with that. But the cartoon I watched every single day. Loved it. Loved the toys. Although I will admit, as we go through this, I didn't really have that many of the G1 toys, at least not this first year.
Yeah. No, excited to dig into the toys. Well, I think we've talked about it before on one of the episodes, just like maybe it was with I can't remember where, but the animated series was one that I did watch as a kid and like, but it was the first one that I kind of went back to. It's interesting for me, just kind of tapping into like my experience with Transformers. I didn't really have any of the bigger Transformers. I had a ton of the small guys, like I have them back here, like the little ones.
Yeah.
Tons of them. And it's probably just because the big ones are more expensive, and I was younger, so it just makes sense to buy me those. But I love the cartoon, and it's funny. Like Transformers was one of those first things that I had nostalgia for, that I could kind of reconnect to with post Beast Wars, which was Robots in Disguise, and then Armada. And Armada kind of brought back the classic Optimus Prime ish look. And so like going back, and it was at that time that I was like, okay, I'm going and I'm buying all of these vintage G1s that I couldn't get, because I loved Jazz, I loved Optimus Prime, I loved Ultra Magnus or whatever.
So you got the actual G1s, you didn't get the repros.
I got the G1s. But that's what was also happening at that time.
Yeah.
Is you had the Toys R Us commemorative re-releases. And we've talked about that before with like a little bit with Power of the Force 2 had that 4-pack, but Mo 2 had their kind of anniversary reissue sets. Where did you kind of get reacclimated with Transformers in that early 2000s era?
I was excited when the IDW comics, I think it was IDW. Was it IDW or Dreamwave? One of those. Whoever was doing those Pat Lee, all the Pat Lee covers and all that stuff. I was really into that, but I wasn't really reading them. I was just really admiring the art. For whatever reason, I've just never really been that into. And you could probably say the same thing about G.I. Joe. I love G.I. Joe. I'd rank that like number one, all-time favorite, toy lines. But it's really more about like what I do with it than what they do with it necessarily. So I wasn't really that, concerned with reading those comics or anything. But I love the artwork, the posters that were getting put out, all that stuff. As far as the repro toys were concerned, I didn't buy any of those because either I still had my original, G1 stuff, or I had already been at the point where I was actively collecting. I had a job, I had money, I was actively collecting those things. So if I had wanted to get those things again, I had already gotten them back again. And I really, at that point, did not understand who they were making those for.
Interesting. Okay.
So maybe it was for a slightly younger audience. Maybe there were other people like me at the time who had disconnected years before, and this was their opportunity to get back into. That's my childhood, my favorite Jazz, Hound, whatever, and now I can get a perfect one. I don't care if it's the original one. I just want it to look cool. I don't know, but.
The thing was, those were the reissues. At least I just felt they were so expensive for the time, and maybe because I just didn't have any money, but I just felt they were really expensive. Like like if you missed them, like if you didn't find them, like because Jazz was a G1 figure or toy that took me forever to get a
Mhm.
nice Jazz. And I remember because I was just like, I don't want the reissues. I want original in my
Yeah.
collection. But
Yeah.
I got desperate on Jazz, and I was searching on eBay for that one, and they were still expensive even for reissues. And it was always kind of this. It didn't unlike some of the reissues that happen now where, like, even Ecto Glows, those are, like,
Mhm.
$800 for 4 of them, or spend $80 and get, repros of them from the
Yeah,
same,
yeah,
company or whatever.
yeah.
But
It's
but
t I was collecting so many other things at that point. Like, when those Transformers repros hit, that was you were sort of in this renaissance of all these different toy lines, I mean, that's like 2000, I was at the 20th anniversary, so, like, 2004 maybe,
yeah, I think so.
somewhere around
Yeah,
there. I don't
yeah.
remember what year they came out. But, you've got Toy Biz, Marvel Legends and stuff are happening around then.
Yep.
You've got just 12-inch action figures across the board, all these licensed properties that just had never seen action figures before. I mean, Toys R Us was just crammed with stuff that I was collecting, new lines,
Yeah,
companies you'd never heard of, brands you'd never
exactly.
heard of, import stuff. Like I was Gundams coming out of my ears. Like there was
Yeah.
just so much stuff that I was buying. I wasn't stealing them anymore.
No, no,
'Cause I'd outgrown that. It's harder to get away with that stuff as an adult walking through Toys R Us.
they're not as lenient as, like, I was
Yeah.
a kid.
I had a reputation at this point, upstanding member of the community.
Um, but you're right, like, circa 2000s Toys R Us was kinda
So
special,
good.
right? It was stacked, it was really stacked. Um, but it was different, it wasn't the Toys R Us of our youth where you just had,
No, it was totally different, but
pepsi.
you still had that it was still early enough in the internet days
Mhm.
that going to the store was still a surprise. Like, I
Yes.
didn't know what was gonna be there. I
Yes.
didn't know what was gonna be in stock, and it was still super exciting.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So I looked it up. The commemorative series line was a Toys R Us exclusive and lasted from 2002 to 2004. And then Astro Train was released as a Hasbro Toy Shop exclusive in 2005, Soundwave in 2007. Um, but yeah, so that was the line. But I just thought it was cool. There was an element of just like, well, why can't they have Ghostbusters? I was kind of
Yeah.
like, still being a nerd about my Ghostbuster stuff. But I appreciated the fact that they were like legit kind of reissues. Like they
Mhm.
looked good. They had
Oh,
they had
yeah.
stickers and all of that kind of stuff. But just they were kind of pricey. And so for me, I was like, I want the original one. But we'll get into it probably when we get into these figures. Like G1 toys are some of the most fragile, break if you look at them figures of that era.
Yeah.
Which is, it's kind of a bummer when you look back on it. But all right. Before we jump into the figures, anything like just from 1984, we kind of touched upon it already. I think everybody already knows the story. There's nothing too dramatic to add there, but was it Diaclone and
Micro change.
micro change. Two, I guess Hasbro executives in '83 were sent to the Tokyo Toy Show, and they licensed the rights for those two things. And I guess the Marvel editor Jim Shooter created the overall story for Transformers. That would become the mythology for that. Then you have the Sunbow and associated with Tohei. And you had the series, and then you had all of the toys. But yeah, anything else from just like setting up this toy on before we jump into the individual figures that you want to touch
I
upon?
really think that's it. I mean, the big bullet points are, those two different toy lines from Japan brought in, rebranded,
Yep.
and sort of handed to Hasbro and Marvel to, Hasbro, you're going to sort of handle the toy side of it.
Mhm.
Marvel, you're going to handle the mythology side of it. And then they just roll it out from there. And you do still end up with that like cartoon and comics doing two different things,
Yes.
because you
Yes.
just have two different teams working on them. But the cartoon really becomes the predominant mythology for the whole thing through 86. And it's really crazy to think that, that G1 era, I mean, it goes on past the movie, it goes on
Yes.
past 86, but for me,
Yeah,
and I
right?
think for a lot of people, your G1 experience it kind of ends at 86 when that movie comes out.
It does.
We're talking about 2 years, 84 to 86.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild because this mini series will go past it.
Sure, yeah.
Thank God we got Ken from Toy Connections on one of the later episodes, just because he's way more locked into all of those post movie characters and stories. I don't have any clue, so it'll be a journey, for sure. But like in retrospect, do you like what they pulled off, like with the mythology of it? Clearly, it worked, but like it,
Oh
thoughts on
yeah,
how they made it work.
as a kid, I think it backfired. As a kid who was into Transformers, sees the movie and then sees the toys that come after that and loses interest to a certain extent.
Sure,
I think that backfired as far as what Hasbro was concerned.
sure.
As an adult, I look at it and say, well, yeah, you got to refresh it. You got to
Yeah,
you got to do some new stuff. Like it's not going to still be around in 40 years if you're just making the same guy over and over and
yeah.
over again. Now, 40 years later, you could just keep making the same guy over and over again.
Right? They
It's
didn't
fine.
know. They didn't know. Because it's wild. Because some of these looks are based like Optimus Prime hasn't really changed. Which
I mean,
that's what you do. Superman's basically the same,
yeah, no, you got it right on the first try. Why
Yeah.
you can't improve on perfection, right?
All right. So we've got Allison Droid as our research has these figures in order a little bit here with the good guys and the bad guys. Oh, were you did you have a faction you aligned more? You've generally been a good guy for the most
Yeah.
part in this series, but
No, I think I'm still team
Autobots.
bad guys
Oh,
for
okay.
this, just because they just had the cooler stuff.
Yeah.
Like I'm an airplane guy. They had the airplanes.
Yeah.
We'll get to it here in a minute, but for one Christmas, my brother gets Optimus, I get Megatron. So it's like those choices were being made for me. I'm a middle child through and through.
I love it. I love it. Do you want to start with the Decepticons then?
Yeah,
or-
we can just go right in order. It's
All right,
as
we'll go
far
in
as
order.
we're gonna lose track here.
All right, so the first one we got here is a Bluestreak. Let me share the old screen here. Bluestreak is one of the Datsun. Well, I guess in Japan it's a fair lady, but here, what would we say, the 240Z or the 260Z?
I don't know. I'm an airplane guy, not a car guy.
Fair.
You tell me.
Fair. I've always loved the three or the 240 and the 260Z. I always thought it was kind of a cool looking car, but Bluestreak, he's kind of a neat guy. I dig the car design. It as a kid, I was just like, he's not blue. But okay.
Notoriously not blue, yes.
But and he's one I actually do not have in my collection. But where are you at on Bluestreak?
And obviously there are several characters here who share this exact same design, just with different colors and whatever. What an incredible feat of toy engineering, right? Like the idea that you had a really fantastic car mode.
Yes.
Rubber tires, opening doors, like for all intents and purposes, you look at that thing and it's just a great looking, partially die-cast car. It's a really, really fantastic toy. That also transforms into a pretty good robot for the time, considering what it needs to do. The arms do move, and the arms move. That's about all you're going to get for articulation out of all of them. But it didn't matter. As a kid, yeah, there's a little bit of frustration. I wish his legs bent. I wish his knees bent, whatever. But at the same time, it's like what toys had good articulation? Like G.I. Joe.
That's it.
This didn't have, articulation wise, like He-Man. Okay, he can turn his head, he's got a waist, he's got hips, but he doesn't transform, like they were just incredible toys. I did not have Bluestreak, so I don't really have any personal stories about Bluestreak. But all of those cars are just really, really fantastically engineered. And before we go too far, the box art on this C1 stuff is just absolutely iconic. Is it good? I don't know. I can't look at it objectively, right? Like it's just been there. It's just been that for so long that I can't even tell you if it's good or not. I can only tell you that it's iconic.
I think it is. I think it is objectively good, right? Because it to me, always felt like, especially for any of the vehicles of any substantial size, it kind of had a premium feel to it. It's in a box. It has usually you're seeing it through some type of window. You have art that looks amazing. Maybe sets improper expectations that you're gonna have knee articulation or whatever that isn't gonna be there. But I think the art looks great. And then there's just something to the good guy, Autobots look of that orangey red grid thing, and then the Decepticons having that purple look. And I think I just think it looks incredible. Like, it's seared in your brain. Like, I don't see how you think of Transformers. Like, how much card art? Like, is this the most iconic card art where it's just maybe G.I. Joe, but like it's just so seared and so connected to the toy?
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is definitely up there. Masters of the Universe is definitely up there. That whole Mount Rushmore we were just talking about,
Yeah,
they're all up
right,
there.
they all have it.
It's tough. I think anybody who tries to rank them, you're just going to rank them based on your personal taste and not any sort of like subjective, aesthetic, principles or anything. There's a lot going on these boxes, from that, bold chromed out logo, the futuristic, grid that you mentioned, that pop of that, just fantastic character art. I think, don't the original boxes have the styrofoam instead of the sort of blister
I
carded?
believe you're correct.
I believe they have the styrofoam initially, and then you've got on the back, there's usually that like full,
Yes.
posterized
Kind of
shot
battle
of
royale.
all the characters and stuff. Then you have the decoder bar, the red decoder bar with all the
Yes.
strength and properties and all that stuff. Just so much going on there. Like, you can spend time with that box. Even after you open it, you can still spend some time looking at the art and appreciating the packaging.
I have it was in one collection that I bought, but he kept all of the backs of the cards, all of the file,
Tech specs. Yes, the tech specs.
Thank you. And even still, sometimes I'll take out that box and just just spend some time with that art, and it's so good.
It's such a clever gimmick.
Yes.
But it's genius. Like, I mean, it was absolutely fascinating as a kid to hold that red translucent piece of plastic over the tech specs. And it didn't even change that much, to be honest.
No.
But it was enough. And it was just so cool. It really plays into that, like, more than meets the eye, the secrets, the hidden nature of the toy, and that, keeping that information from your parents, like, just cool. So cool.
It's such a, you're right. It's such a primitive thing, but like, it just felt high tech. It felt like there's nothing like it.
Get yourself a set of 3D glasses. You're like, I don't even need the decoder bar anymore. I can just close one eye and look at this. I have Transformers vision now.
So good. So good. So yeah, I think, to your point, like, your people are probably just going to rank based on what your preferences are. And to be honest, like, I would probably rank, Star Wars and Motu ahead of Transformers. But I think, for me, objectively, I think the total package of Transformers just hits a little, like, a touch harder than the other three out of this.
Well, it's tough, right? Because if you compare it to, say, G.I. Joe, you don't get to see the full toy. The figures you can, but if you're looking at like the Battle Ram or whatever, Battle Cat, yes, you see Battle Cat through the clear plastic, but the vehicles you don't. G.I. Joe, you just see the figure most of the time. You don't get to see the whole Sky Striker. You get a picture on the back, you get the painting on the front, and that's it. Transformers, you're getting to see the whole figure, and I would rank them most likely. For me, it would have to come down to the individual figure. Like, I might not say, oh, Transformers is number one across the board. I might say, like, oh, Battle Cat is above Optimus.
Yeah.
But the 2-pack of Laserbeak and Frenzy, or Laserbeak and Rumble, whoever it was, is above that. Like, it would really come down, because again, it's going to be down to my own personal taste and my own personal nostalgia for that individual toy.
Yep. No, that's fair. It's fair. But yeah, Bluestreak, he is a dude. Not the most iconic, but still a pretty good one. I would say Hound is pretty iconic. He is your military Jeep. I I know you're more Decepticons here, but you military kid.
Yeah. I didn't get a Hound until years later. Didn't have one as a kid.
Okay.
Played with some of my friends' versions of it, so I had the ability just to check it out and put my own hands on it. Kind of a brick, but again, a cool toy. Yeah, a cool toy that looks better on the artwork. But
they all do.
great car mode and passable robot mode. And
That's
just
the thing,
all that chrome.
The chrome is amazing.
So good. Like, look at all the materials. I mean, forget the stickers. Whoever applied the stickers on that one we're looking at, just come on.
They struggle. I mean, they're there. I think they.
Yeah, I know. This Jeep is in like full parade dress for like a fancy military parade. Too much going on there.
But no,
that's a later one too because it's got a rub symbol.
Oh yeah. But to me, it is the vehicle modes are really impressive. This is where it has that like Japanese precision and like attention to detail and engineering, like ingenuity, and that is still impressive to this day. That this thing converts. Yeah, exactly.
Seats that transform.
Did you? So and again, I'm not an expert on Diaclone or anything, but the whole thing for there is they had little riders that would like sit in the chairs of the vehicles, or like Optimus Prime, or at least whatever was a convoy or whatever, had a little guy that would ride inside of him, right? That's the whole thing.
Yep. Any of those ones that not this one. This wouldn't have had seats, but like Sunstreaker and Optimus and the Jets, Starscream, Thundercracker, Skywarp, all that stuff. Yeah, in Japan they would have had the little micro change figures with them.
Should they have carried that over, or is just like a safety thing? Can give little chocobo figures to American children?
Yeah, I would say yes. They should have carried it over.
Right?
If, what's the difference? If Japanese children can do it, why can't American children?
Right?
I think it just comes down to American kids are stupider, and you can't stop them from putting things in their mouths and choking on them. But I had some of those figures from Japan.
Did have some of those.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. And I know that we'll get to it here, but the Starscream I had was not a Hasbro Starscream. It was one of the other ones. It was either a knockoff or something else, because I remember that it came with figures, and obviously none of the Hasbro figures did.
Yeah. I remember as a kid, I was like, man, I wish these guys, there's little seats here. I want to play with them. Next up is probably one of two of the worst out of G1, at least in the vehicle, the toy representation of the character.
Yeah.
Ironhide, whose art doesn't even put his crappy head in the picture. It's so bad. And somewhat phallic location of his little rocket there.
Depending on how you're interpreting that. Yeah. Because technically he's like riding a little battle sled there.
Okay, I guess you could say that there.
But as a kid, you don't know what's going on. You're just looking at it and you're like, he's got a windshield for a head. His fists are there. Is he mid-transformation? I can't really tell.
But okay, so you didn't mind this one, didn't
That I will say that is one that I definitely did have some prior exposure to for whatever reason. I do remember seeing a kid have a Ratchet, an Ironhide. And just thinking it was a cool toy because it wasn't Ironhide yet. It was just, what it was. It was just another of this in this sea of transforming robots that were in every toy aisle and every toy store. I just thought it was a cool toy. So it's not until later that, I see it as Ironhide on the cartoon and I'm like, that doesn't match. You can't fool me.
Did you ever, I mean, I guess they probably didn't care, like the Hasbro executives or whatever, like, kids are gonna buy, who gives a crap, of like trying to make it look like the animated character.
I mean, like, does Megatron look like Megatron?
More than this,
but it's still not exactly right on. It's still pretty far.
And again, I'm just saying, like, where is this
that's he's got a little hole in his crotch. But a cool vehicle mode, and he's got his little battle sled there. Base mode is what they're calling it in this picture.
Hold on, that's
sort of a 2-in-1.
Yeah, he's got a little base action there, and a little chair, so he would have been micro change then if he had the kind of like, what's the mask, Winnebago, what was that one called again?
That was Slingshot.
Yes, a little bit, kind of like that a little bit.
Yeah.
Van turns into a little base. What?
But before the comments light up, technically all the cars are from Car Robots.
Oh, okay.
So
Sorry.
Car Robots is a sub line of Diaclone. Micro Change grew out of Microman.
Okay.
I know.
I'm glad you're here. Did you? So for me, again, I didn't really have too many of the bigger ones, but these little accessories lost immediately. Did you? Was it similar for you? These little chrome.
Yeah. I wish I could say that I held on to them longer, but I didn't. I just and for the most part, I don't even know if I really liked them
Right?
for the figures that I had. I distinctly remember, we got Optimus and his fists were just gone.
Right, that
Just gone.
drove me nuts. We'll get to Optimus. That's the one I think tragic flaw of that figure. But he was the only one where it's like his gun. He needs to have his gun and maybe Soundwave. But for the rest, like I didn't really care if they didn't have their guns.
Yeah, some of them, the cars, Bluestreak and Jazz and Prowl and all those guys, like you like to have those rocket launchers on their shoulders.
Yes.
But the toy was just about the transformation, the back and forth, robot to car, robot to car, robot to car.
Yep, agreed. Next up, we got one of my all-time favorites, Jazz. I've always loved this Porsche design.
I was gonna say, just because of the car.
I think the car, like I had, I just had a wind-up Porsche toy, like as a little kid with this. It's that Martini or whatever, that livery. And so I always loved that look of that race car. And my dad was, really into like
Scatman Crothers.
It's really into jazz music, man. No, he was into like European racing shit. So I just always loved the look of that car. And so like the Jazz being that car, I always thought it was the coolest freaking thing ever. And he was kind of one of the cool guy of the cartoon.
Yeah. Toy wise, he's pretty much the same as Prowl or Hound, not Hound, Prowl or any of those, Bluestreak and Smokescreen, and
like he looks pretty good in robot mode, I feel. He is one though, while this loads up here. I think all of these cars can get really loosey-goosey with their legs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And they can be kind of hard to stand up after a period of time.
Even today, with all the advancements and materials and manufacturing and engineering, I still don't think they are thinking about whether or not that thing is going to hold up for 40 years.
That's fair.
And in 1984, they weren't thinking we need to make sure, are these tires going to last 40 years? They weren't thinking about that. You just got to make the sale to move on.
It's fair. But I just feel like how quickly these things got a little loosey-goosey compared to maybe some other toys. Like, I'm not expecting 40 years, but I'm expecting maybe a year. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, there's premium toys, a lot of different materials here, a lot of moving parts.
But I dug Jazz. Did you have Jazz as a kid?
Nope. Another one I did not have. Nope.
Did you lament not having a Jazz?
Not really. It was one of those things where either my friends had it or it was just so far down my list that it wasn't really a big deal that I didn't get it. There were just so many others that I thought were so much cooler. And again,
you're a Jet guy. Jet way.
Guy, yeah, tape player guy, all that stuff. These were too hard to steal. But the thing that has plagued me as a collector my whole life is there were so many other toy lines on the shelves that I was interested in. So here Jazz was probably like 30th on the list of things across the toy aisle that I wanted to get.
Yeah, that's fair. For me, I love Jazz. He's an all-time favorite. Next up, we got Mirage and one of the cars. He is a Formula 1 car, which was kind of cool. Wasn't my favorite design, but still pretty solid first year figure.
Yeah, my brother got this one for either a birthday or Christmas or something at some point, and I think he was just about out of toys, so it was really more like I got it because I spent way more time with it than he did. And I really appreciated it. It was a cool car mode, cool robot mode, but I appreciated how different it was
Yes.
because so many of those Autobot cars were using that same basic transformation scheme. And this one broke out of that and was completely different. Hound was too.
Yeah. Yeah. Also love the color scheme too, the kind of the
Great
teal,
colors. Yeah, absolutely.
really good colors. And yeah, he definitely has like a different look. Like if you have him in your collection, which actually I don't have. I need to get Mirage because I think he breaks up the look of your shelf, your Autobot shelf.
Yeah, and as I
Really
understand
cool.
it, he breaks up a lot. It's really tough to find a good, solid, unbroken one. Those feet, his spoiler feet, are tough to get intact.
I mean, all the like, I had one that I tried to transform and I broke the freaking rear windows on him.
Mm.
Um, it gets brittle, next up, we got another. This is the one I do have, Prowl, out of the 340 or 360Zs. I think this is the cooler between Bluestreak and this one. But what's your thoughts on Prowl?
I like Prowl. I agree. I did like that. It was a cop car.
Mhm.
Kind of a bad guy as a good guy. It's a political joke. But I got a fantastic condition Prowl not that long ago, maybe 2 years ago at a flea market.
Oh,
Somebody just, some guy who was selling things that you would not have associated. You would not have thought he had G1 Transformers on his table. He had like,
ooh,
old rusty woodworking tools, and like
yeah,
boxes full of nails and things. You're like, and then all of a sudden, like right next to it, there's this G1 Prowl half transformed and pretty dirty. And I'm like, I can see through the dirt, and I'm like, all that needs is to be cleaned up. Like the
yeah.
tires are in good shape, it looks good, the joints are tight, the rear windshield feet aren't broken off or anything. So I
Mhm.
think I bought it for like $5 or something. And
Dang, that's a good
that's
pickup.
yeah, no accessories, but
Sure.
otherwise very good condition, and certainly would have paid more if I bought it, from a toy shop or something.
Yeah. Oh, those are the best finds. The best kind of finds. And random too. Just not too long ago, a friend of mine, he's Keith. I've talked about him before on the live stream, friend of John and I's, but he seems to find he had a similar situation where some guy he just had a bunch. He usually has tools at the flea market, but one of the days he just had mint in box mask rhino
Mm,
that was just sitting there amongst all the stuff. It was kind
yeah,
of sun worn a little bit, but it was still sealed. And he bought it from him for like a steal. It was a song that he got it for. I was like,
yeah,
dang,
yeah.
miracles can still happen at a flea
It's
market near
true.
you. But no, I dig. The color scheme is cooler here too. But yeah, no,
And you know what? And just part of that iconic design of all of these Autobot cars with this mold is that doors as wings, the
yes,
sort of back wings. I always loved that look. It was always fantastic.
agreed. Because then you could try to fight the Jets, or at least have a chance
Yeah,
to.
yeah.
And then we've got Ratchet, the other weird, not even close.
Mold partner. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but I guess I maybe like this one a little bit more.
You
I don't
need a
know. Like,
medic. You need a medic. Ironhide's a tough guy. Ratchet's the medic. You got to have somebody to repair the things. Um, but any issues you had with one, you're gonna have with the other, as far as like
sure.
doesn't match the guy on the cartoon, doesn't match the guy in the comics, doesn't match the guy on the box. Well, I guess it does match the guy on the box art. But yeah, I hard to believe that he would have been either one of these, Ratchet or Ironhide, would have been at the top of anybody's list.
No, no.
Like I need to get him eventually, but I don't need to get him right now.
I have no desire to ever have either of
Well, I
these.
think it's fun now. Like it's just such a weird obscurity, especially like you can see the little face,
Yeah, whatever this
peeking
is.
through the window there. And there are third-party kits and stuff that you can
Yes,
buy to
that
sort of put a head on these,
yeah.
and sort of fix the design. But
They they had
um,
it here in the pictures. Yeah, these like
oh yeah, 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 there it is. Yeah,
cartoon head attachments
yeah,
um that you can that you can put
it's
on
rough. Yeah.
there.
So it's neat from a toy, curiosity and perspective. But
Yeah,
as far as like
exactly.
looking like the guy and satisfying your, need to have the dude that's on TV, that ain't it.
Yeah, exactly. And then next up we got Sideswipe. So many vehicles, but this one, the coolest car in the history of cars,
It
the
is true.
Lamborghini Countach.
Yep.
Did this? I mean, I know you're a Countach fan. Did this speak to you at all as a kid?
Oh yeah. No, this was definitely one I wanted but never got. I
Okay.
didn't have a Sideswipe until my adult collecting years. But best car ever. Every toy line had a Countach in it.
Yes.
And it's just it's a fun toy. It's a great looking vehicle mode. It's a great looking robot mode, despite lack of posability. But it just
This
looks
one looks
great.
real good
That
in robot mode.
red with the chrome and the black and the white is just so sharp. Just looks so good.
Yeah.
It doesn't hurt that he's got that, Countach hood for his
Right?
chest.
It looks like even when you break up that amazing silhouette, it still looks great
So good.
on this robot mode.
Still good.
Yeah, no.
And so I did have, and I'm assuming he's coming up next here, Sunstreaker I had. So the idea that they were brothers, I was like, oh, well, I have to have Sideswipe at some point. Even though I didn't get him as a kid, I did eventually get him as an adult.
Nice. And yeah, again, vehicle mode, just it looks
perfect. Absolutely perfect.
No notes.
Yeah.
No notes.
No, gorgeous.
So good. So
gorgeous. Good. I have the world's smallest Transformer Sideswipe sitting on my desk right now.
Perfect.
As well as like 3 other different Lamborghinis.
This is my favorite car color too. Like if I get a car in this color, that's my go-to car color for sure. Now all cars have to be black, white, or gray.
And it's funny. We did a video recently. One of our member exclusive videos was the history of the Lamborghini Countach, and I had the opportunity to go down to Newport, Rhode Island, where they have a car museum, and they had a Countach there. Unfortunately, it was the 20th anniversary, whatever it was, edition that had a lot of design elements on the surface that I don't really like. That it doesn't quite match this. But through the research of that video, what I found was that Countach purists don't like the spoiler. Like the original design of the car did not have a spoiler on it.
Interesting.
And it breaks up that sort of wedge shape of the vehicle. And but for kids, anybody who was a kid in the 80s, early 90s, that car was in everything. And it's this version with the spoiler that is in Transformers and Gobots and whatever. If you see a Lamborghini, it's got the spoiler on it. Miami Vice, it's that version. And so it's that version. I can't get it out of my head. So when I see, this is a Tomika one that I picked up in Japan during Star Wars Celebration, when I see it without that spoiler, I'm just like, it's missing. It's like a phantom limb. It should be there. I hate that it's not there. This one just came out. Hot Wheels just put this one out in a 2-pack, and it's got no spoiler. And I'm like, I know it's more accurate to the original design, but it doesn't feel right.
Well, it's just it is a thing from our childhood. Like if a car didn't have a spoiler, it didn't go fast.
No, you need the spoiler in case you go so fast that you take off. That's why it's there.
Exactly.
It transforms. Obviously.
No, I agree. We need to get the car purists to calm down and allow us to have the spoiler return. Quit spoiling our spoiler fun.
Hey, wordplay.
All right, let's jump into a Sunstreaker here, the yellow version. But yeah,
still a Lamborghini Countach, even though it's got some sci-fi decoration going on there.
So does it lose a bit steam for you that it is kind of like a not as pure of a
no, because as a kid, this was like the first deluxe Transformer that I had as a kid. And I've told this story before. I was one of those bratty kids that couldn't take not getting something when it was somebody else's birthday.
Okay. So
I don't know if you've dealt with that with your kids, if that's been an issue.
We're okay. We're usually okay, but it just depends on the caliber of gifts the kid is getting.
Mom just kind of slides a little oh, hey, I picked this up for you. Just don't worry about it. Don't say anything. Just here, I just grabbed this for you as well. You can hang out over there today, so this was my brother for his birthday, gets this stack of presents, and my mom was like, hey, here's a little something for you, so
Oh, so this was the bribe.
Yeah, and you can see we have photos of that birthday party, and my brother's friends are all over there. He's opened up all his presents and whatever, and you can just see me sort of sitting in the corner holding my Sunstreaker. And that's my mom just being smart and practical, and cutting off any issues before they even start.
Well worth the $10 or whatever.
Exactly.
To avoid a
so Sunstreaker will always hold that special place for me as being like first deluxe, and really best my brother's birthday party I ever went to. Like, and not a bad toy, pretty cool toy.
No, he's cool.
He's got those weird long monkey arms. I never knew what to do with those like shoulder missile things. I never put them on him. But I love the fact that even in car mode you could still open up that sort of canopy style cockpit access.
Kind of
that still opens up, and like if you don't know it transforms, you don't know it transforms. Like it's all pretty, all the robot parts are pretty well hidden. You can still put a guy in the cockpit there. It was just a really, really cool toy, and that yellow is just, man, it just pops.
It's probably my second favorite car color is this kind of yellow. It does, like, it's a really vibrant color. It really stands out, and it just kind of has that like, watch out, this is a fast car, especially this one, whatever this gigantic engine on it, it's gonna take off. It can take flight.
Space speed blower, air compressor thing, whatever it is. And so over the years, every time a new Sunstreaker comes out, I'm like, well, I gotta grab Sunstreaker. He's my guy.
And then just give a quick call to your mom. Thanks, Mom.
Yeah. Lately, I have to buy a third-party spoiler and hit it with chrome pen.
I was gonna say you won't forgive her for the Matt Tracker incident, but
no, we're still not over
that. All right. Next up, we got Trailbreaker. This one I've actually never owned and never kind of wanted to own. He's like what, a Toyota four-wheeler kind of thing. But he's the pickup truck of the crew, right?
No, I remember a kid in class having one of these, and it was because they were so expensive, so much more expensive than like a GI Joe guy or a GoBot or whatever. If you didn't know somebody who had them, you didn't really get a sense of how they worked and how they felt and what they were made out of. And so every time you got your hands on a new one, there was this sort of like learning process of how does it transform? How does it become the robot? What is the secret behind this toy? And that information sometimes has to be passed to you from the owner. Here's how you change it. Here's how you know the secret as well. Guard it. Like,
I love that.
Don't let your parents find out. And so this was one where I was just like, I don't even know if I'm doing this right, because the head sort of fits, it like sort of sits on top of the cabin area, and the arms fold out weird, and I don't know, just kind of, this one kind of looks bad from the back. It's really a front-facing robot. But again, different from the sort of Jazz Prowl group of cars.
No, it's he's again, it's nice if you want a little bit of diversity in your lineup out of this crew. It's a good one to throw in there. And it's again, is it a Toyota Hilux?
I have no idea.
Let's see, maybe it is. Toyota Hilux. Perfect.
There you go.
The indestructible car for the old Top Gear fans out there. But have you seen that Top Gear episode?
I've seen like maybe 2 episodes of Top Gear in my life.
Well, there's a legendary one where they had an old 80s Toyota Hilux, and this was back like 20 years ago. And it's like, you can't destroy it, and they just like they throw it out in the ocean and it still starts. They blow it up on a building and it still starts.
Jeez.
And they crash it into walls and stuff and it still starts. And so my kids watch that one, and so they're obsessed with Toyota Hiluxes, but they don't sell them here. So that was one of the big things of going to Japan.
Oh, okay.
They still have Hiluxes there, which are basically like smaller Tacoma.
Okay. Yeah. I always thought it was just like a Ford Bronco or something, I thought the toy was kind of like distorted proportions of something like a Ford Bronco.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's basically, or the American version was the Marty McFly car, his 4x4.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Was essentially what the Hilux was, but they never called him Hilux in America. But anyway, so it's a cool car. All right, Wheeljack. This one is, again, one of those race cars that I just had a toy car of, so I always liked Wheeljack, and he had a really cool face in the cartoon and the
Mhm.
way he talked and stuff, but this was one, again, where, his transformation, he just kinda looks gangly or just
It's
doesn't
a
look
bit of an underwhelming robot mode. The car mode is great, but
it
the
is.
robot mode is kind of underwhelming.
Like, his
Yeah.
arms are way too big.
You just want him to be so much taller.
Yeah, right? It's like his arms are proportional to, like, how he is, but then
Yeah,
his
yeah.
midsection's just tiny.
His legs should be twice as long. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I kind of I don't know if you've been, like, as locked into the Missing Link toys,
I've been paying attention. Yep, for sure.
and so I know they just did the Ultra Magnus, but I kinda wanna do some of these weird transformations and, like, actually make good
Well, see,
transformations out
that's the
of it.
thing is, like, they're not gonna change the proportions at all, though. Like, they'll give like, if they do Wheeljack, they'll give him knees,
Mhm.
maybe like a waist swivel or something, but they're not gonna fix how short his legs are.
Couldn't you though? Couldn't you just, like, add, like, a little extra
I mean, they
telescope
could, but
looking.
I think that goes I don't think that's what the missing link line is about. I think it's just about
Mm,
adding articulation to whatever weird design was already there. And Sunstreaker is a perfect example of that. The
mhm.
missing link Sunstreaker just came out, and it's the
True.
same sort of his arms are a little bit long and whatever,
Yeah.
but now he's got knees, you know?
I feel like I don't know. I need to who's running that line? They reach out and be like, "Hey, before you
Get
get
Mr.
to."
Takara on the
Yeah,
phone.
exactly. But, because I just this is one where I just like, to your point, like, just needs a little bit longer of legs, and it would kinda start to fill out right.
Yeah.
But, alas, that it's not.
Again, cool engineering, different from his line mates. Awesome head design, fantastic car mode.
Car mode's so
Uh,
slick.
just a little off on the robot.
Mhm, mhm. Alright, now we're getting to the man himself,
The one
Optimus
and only.
Prime.
The one and only.
Um, again, aside from the hands immediately getting lost, which is a horrible design flaw, I
Mm.
think, with this toy. Take that out of it. I think this is a perfect toy. I absolutely love this toy to this day. Like, I've gotten reissues for my sons because they also love this as a toy. Um, but what's your Optimus Prime thoughts? Did you have him as a
Yeah,
child?
so 1 year for Christmas, my brother got Optimus, I got Megatron.
Okay.
So we both got to play with the two,
Mhm.
leaders, and get a sense. I loved that, the cars could fit in the trailer.
Mhm.
Throw my Sunstreaker in there, Mirage, whatever, Bumblebee. Loved that it came with the trailer. Loved that it had all the seats for the different, little figures, which I had a couple of. Um, stand it up. It's a repair station, whatever. Lay him down.
Mhm.
You've got roller. Yeah, like a few other figures, Soundwave joints and articulation are just incidental to their transformation engineering.
Yeah.
So he does have elbows. He does
Yes.
have knees. A little frustrating that his hips, his thighs couldn't go forward, but compared to everything else, he was very well articulated.
Right? I
Um,
think that was what made him a little extra special is that he had the knee articulation and the
yep,
the elbow swivel, you know?
and a just incredibly intuitive transformation.
Yes.
That just it looks good, it functions well, it's easy to understand. Any kid can do it. You
Mhm.
can do it by accident,
Yes.
um, And, yeah, other than the fists, which, at some point, some kid was like, "Oh, I just keep them in the cab," when he's in, and I was like, "Yeah, well, that's really smart. I wish I'd have thought of that before I
Yeah.
lost him." But yeah, just truly, truly iconic. I don't know what else you could possibly say about it.
No, I love that you called out the transformation because I think it is one of the most satisfying, maybe it is the most satisfying transformation out of any transforming toy, because it is so intuitive. Like, again, like I talk about my kids having both of them have had Optimus Primes. I think I got Zach had a G2 one for a while, and then I got him a reissue, and then Alex had one too, but it is a very satisfying transfer. It's satisfying to transform. It's almost like a fidget in a lot of ways. And we've talked about that before, like the fidgetability of toys
Sure.
in our youth. But yeah, it is an absolute joy of a transformation.
And good robot mode, good vehicle mode, and I would even say that this version of it looks better and functions better than versions that came after it.
Agreed.
More modern deluxe class, whatever, that were trying to do other things just didn't function as well. It's just I really think it's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right?
Easy.
It's perfect. It's perfect. And it's so perfect that like every live action or any iteration is just trying to somehow get this.
Sure.
I feel like the Bumblebee look is the closest to like nailing this look.
Right.
But yeah, I absolutely adore this.
Other than that gun. Other than having to hold his gun weird, he's got that little peg sticking out the bottom of the gun. That's fine.
But at least it like to me again, we were talking before about the guns for a lot of these were kind of superfluous, like we didn't really care or whatever, but still his gun is pretty iconic.
Yeah.
I know that the energy axe has been added later. It could have easily been done, but just such a cool toy. He has a battle station.
Yeah, I mean, how many toys come with play sets? He's got a built-in play set.
So cool. So cool. We have the Pepsi mail away. I don't really did this mean anything to you? I didn't
I didn't know it existed until years later. And if I had at the time, I definitely would not have mailed away for it because we were a Coke family.
Same.
Keep your Pepsi. Keep your garbage sewer water.
Agreed. Oh man, Costco just changed to Coke.
Oh, nice.
And it's been the best. I'm just like, no, I'm gonna get a 70-cent soda because it's Coke now, not crappy Diet Pepsi. That's another thing about, I don't know, San Diego this year, like the Pepsi to Coke count shifted in a way that I'm not okay with.
No, that was disappointing for sure.
I don't know.
I wasn't sure if that was a West Coast thing, a California thing,
no,
San Diego thing.
No, because I grew up, we were a Coke family as well. Actually, Dr. Pepper and Coke.
Sure.
But yeah, this past year I was like, every time like, oh, it's not Coke, it's Diet Pepsi. Is that okay? I'm like, no, but that's what I gotta go with here.
Yeah.
But anyway, okay, mini vehicles. What was your thoughts on the mini vehicles? This is mostly what I had.
Yeah. I think most kids at the time, this would have been what you had. So much more affordable, just an easier, shut you up from mom and dad or whatever, grandparents, aunts, whatever, birthday presents. My brother, the two of the first Transformers we got right when we gotten back from Japan in the US, he got Brawn, I got Gears. So Brawn I always associate with being like, oh, that's my brother's toy, but I still got to play with it. His weird little Tyrannosaurus Rex arms are kind of weird. His little leg. Yeah, it's a little weird.
His legs, talk about like too long of legs.
Yeah. But he was still fun, and those iconic colors, and you had to do some imaginative reconciliation as a kid to say, is this in scale with Optimus Prime? Why is this toy so much tinier than all of this other stuff? But at the same time, you've got a handgun, a microscope, a tape deck that you're doing that math already in your head. Saying, this works, that works. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. And I love these two. Again, like the fidgetability, I think, was important as well.
And pocket sized.
Exactly.
Throw that thing in your pocket, take it to school.
That's what I loved about these, was just the easy transportation. It was an easy toy, and it's a twofer. It was a twofer in that you had a toy car and an action figure.
Yep.
And
sure.
that to me was huge. It's like, you only take one toy. I'm like, ha, joke's on you.
Yeah. I got two pockets.
Yes. Autobot, we have a red Autobot, Bumblebee, and of course the iconic yellow Bumblebee. Did you have the red or the yellow or any?
I think we had a yellow Bumblebee and a red Cliff Jumper.
Okay, yeah.
Just incidentally, nobody at the time was really paying attention to, is this even the right car shape for this guy? Like, I don't think I even would have noticed, because there were other things that we have already talked about today, ironhide Ratchet, that didn't match, that even if this wasn't a Volkswagen Beetle as Bumble Jumper or whatever,
Mhm.
would never even have noticed as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I will say in retrospect, Bumblebee and Cliffjumper look pretty good, like, on
Sure.
model for especially these smaller scale ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
They're obviously a lower price point
mhm,
item. The sort of almost two-dimensional flip up head is like,
mhm.
nah, that's not quite on the same scale as, what you're getting in some of these other toys.
Yep.
But yeah, pocket sized, fully transformable, not a bad cutesy little Volkswagen Beetle. It's
Yeah.
all fun. It's all good.
Punch buggy, no backsies. And then yeah, we got Cliffjumper, who's in yet red and yellow. Of course, his iconic
Yep.
look is the red. I think it's just a cool car design. I don't know what kind of car it is originally. I don't think we have the little thingy there, but it looks fun. Looks fun. And then we've got Gears.
Yeah. So
Uh,
Gears is my first official Transformer as
okay.
a kid. And I remember thinking, this is this isn't as good as GoBots. I think I like GoBots more.
I don't blame you. This is not a great first
It's not.
introduction.
It's not. Gears is not. No. Like, what truck is that? What kind of truck is that? What are those wheels? What are his arms?
Like,
Like,
yeah,
and he always had this sort of weird, like, if you've ever had one, it's weird, like, now everything tabs in. You click it, it tabs in.
sure.
These arms don't tab in. They just kind of sit there weird, and it just, I don't know. So I love Gears. He's one of my favorite little toys, just because of, what he represented for me,
Mhm.
but he's not very good. He's not the best. Gears is not number 1.
Poor Gears.
Sorry, Gears.
He's not at least proportionally, he's not like Hound or whatever. He's kind of proportionally there, you
It's
know?
just, yeah, several of these, like, I'm trying to find the human in this. Where's the face? Where are the
Yeah.
hands? Where are the, like, it's just, I don't know. I moved some things around, but I'm not sure this is actually a guy,
Yeah, exactly, exactly. That was definitely, like, part of that process, especially as a kid and these G1, sometimes it would get there and something like, "I don't really know what
Yeah.
this is supposed to be." Um, let's keep going on to Huffer, another fun did you have Huffer?
I got him later. I think I might have inherited him from, somebody else's collection or picked him up at a yard sale or something. Eventually I did get him, not quite as a kid, probably in my teenage years. Um,
Kinda like his,
and
like, hands like this.
I don't know what's going on there. Again, it's like, I feel like this is, you quit halfway through. Okay, the head looks all right, the legs are all right. What do we do with these arms? I don't know. We got to call it a job. We're done. Like, what are we
Would it
gonna
have
do with this?
would it have blown the budget to just put a little articulation
I
on
don't
the
know.
smokestack so it could have been less, like,
Like, I just want to, like, rotate them. Like, if we
Yes,
can rotate the shoulders 180 degrees so that
yes.
they're more like elbows than shoulders, even that
Mhm.
helps.
Yeah, that would've been huge, would've been
Yeah.
huge, but, whatever, these things,
But he's a cute little truck.
exactly, exactly. And then Windcharger, I definitely had this one
Much
as a
better.
kid.
Much better.
Um, go ahead, sorry.
No, 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 he's a great one. He looks really fantastic. Good car mode, good robot mode. Basically a GoBot, honestly.
Definitely has some GoBot vibe for sure, for sure. Were you okay, so you mentioned, like, GoBots is better were you more GoBot focused or just where did you side on the GoBot versus
I
Transformers thing?
I think quantity-wise, yeah, I had way more GoBots than I had
Gotcha.
Transformers, way more. And
Mhm,
I would say that I probably liked a lot of them more, because I had more of them. I could put teams together.
mhm.
And at this size, at this scale, I think the GoBots were better than the sort of
Yeah,
mini Transformers. Are you gonna put Psykill up against a Megatron? I mean, that's the price point's not even close.
yeah, yeah.
Of
No,
course Megatron's gonna be a better toy,
sure.
but, is Psykill more fun? Might be,
Yeah. No,
might
I
be.
think it's a fair like, 'cause I'd GoBots as well, and I watched the show as well, like, I kinda
Same, yeah.
I didn't really I didn't really have like I think this is better than the other.
No,
We're
no.
only a
Yeah.
Transformers family. We're only a Gobots family. I'm like,
No.
transforming robot. I don't care.
Well, that's the thing is having lived in Japan, it was like everything was transforming robots. Every single show that I watched in Japan was transforming robots. So if you were going to draw lines, what, you just watch one show? You're going to buy one toy? Like the entire toy line is just transforming robots.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, it was just like Transformers is on. I watch Transformers. Gobots is on. I watch Gobots. I don't care.
Yep. Exactly. It's a very American thing. Like, no, we're on this team. F the other team.
Yeah. Now, I mean, if we're talking about soda, obviously Coke is better. Pepsi is dishwater. Like, I don't brown trash bag slush. I don't want that.
I mean, it's to the point where, like, if somebody tells me they prefer Pepsi, I kind of question their everything about them, to be honest.
Yeah.
Sorry for this, bringing a lot of comments on this episode. But really, like, honestly, like, who's a Pepsi family? Like, just doesn't make sense to me logically.
Yeah.
It's you drink Pepsi because there's no Coke available. That's like basically
literally the only reason why.
Anyway, all right, Decepticons, your crew.
Get it. Yes.
Let's the cassette tapes.
This is it. Got here. Right here. Love these guys. Dreamed about this. So good. Look at that packaging. Look at that art. Look at that bird. So
it's
good.
Great. No notes.
I was still young enough that I was looking at this stuff like, I can't believe this exists. How did we invent this as a species? How did we do this? It is mind-blowing. It's so fun. It's so cool.
It is. Because I don't know, like, maybe there's younger people that watch this show, right? That Gen Zers or younger millennials or whatever, that the cassette tape era just didn't exist for them.
Sure, dead tech, right?
Or even like maybe cassette tapes is like audio tapes, but the little cassettes you would get for like
mini
your
cassettes,
notes, the mini cassettes, and I loved, just as like a kid, I just loved the idea of the mini cassette because like it's small, it's so cute, and the fact that these were that, and it was the same size, and it turned into a robot, I thought it was the coolest freaking thing in the world.
But as a kid, I didn't even realize that. I didn't know mini cassettes existed. I thought
those were the coolest technology.
I thought these were just smaller, full-size tapes, full-size cassettes. So once I found out that mini cassettes existed, I was like, oh my God, they're even cuter,
No, I think my mom had one of those, like, note-taking.
Yeah.
Or something. Or not my mom, somebody, maybe my grandma. I just remember seeing it and just being entranced.
Yeah.
But just the fact that it's just such a thin little cassette tape and it can turn into something this cool.
So brilliantly designed. Even without his little jetpack laser gun things there, he still is a great little buzzard bird mode. Still love it. And yeah, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. Leg, wing, neck.
Yeah.
To turn it from a little rectangle, flat rectangle, into a really cool bird. I loved it so much. I still do.
Yeah, it's great.
Got a whole bag of laser beaks.
Is that the next Boba set? Laser beak squad? I don't know. But yeah, no, really, really great. So yeah, Frenzy and Laserbeak as a 2-pack. Then we got Ravage and Rumble. Again, Ravage is really just again iconic.
The black and silver with the missiles on his hips. It's so good. So good.
Did the fact that these robots were some of the most badass robots in the show, did they need that level to make it even better, or were you fine with them even just as the toys?
Did not affect me at all as a kid. It was never a consideration to me when I was going after the toys. To me, it was purely about how cool the toy was.
Yeah, it's so
and Ravage was one that I didn't get as a kid. I didn't have again until probably teenage years.
Okay.
Just never managed to get one.
Again, all the articulation in the legs of this thing.
So many joints in those legs.
Right? Like you go to some of the Autobots where you just get arm kind of articulation.
Yeah.
And this guy's got like atomically correct legs of a real panther.
Yeah. No, one of the things that irritates me a lot, having grown up with this version of Ravage,
Mhm.
is more modern versions where his rockets are small. Like
Mm.
part of his silhouette to me is these big
Yeah,
chunky rockets. I want
agreed.
giant missiles on his hips, not
Mhm.
these tiny little things, like I've got the this is the Blockies Soundwave, comes with a little, Ravage.
Mhm.
Look at these tiny little
Oh,
rockets on top of his hips. What is that? That's
that's
offensive.
yeah, that's not okay.
Like,
That's
this Ravage is fun, but those tiny little rockets are come on.
how is that plot?
Have
Because
some respect.
John just got those in his shop. Is it worth picking up that Soundwave? It looks fun.
It's really nice. It's a really nice thing. If you're not like a really big Soundwave fan, if you're not getting
Love
all
the
these,
Soundwave.
Blockies, Deluxe, whatever, Action Edition figures, I
Mhm.
don't know if you need it. But it does come with Ravage, comes with Cybertron mode, Laserbeak, a Rat Bat,
Okay.
the blue one, Frenzy or Rumble, whichever one that is.
Mhm.
Mini Soundwave. So you get a lot of stuff with it, and it's super fun. Super posable. It's got a voice chip in it, lights up, eyes light up.
Yeah,
You
wait,
can
how expensive is it? How spendy is it?
I don't know. That I was given a review sample.
I didn't know if you, like,
I
you
don't know what the price
looked it
is.
up as part of your review sample
I didn't
process
do a
or
review.
something. Um, but yeah, no, I was just like, "Ooh, I may hit up John, tell him to hold that one for me."
Frenzy and Rumble, before we move on here real
Yeah.
quick. Again, brilliant engineering on those. The spring-loaded head with the hands that tuck into the top,
Mhm.
die-cast feet, pop those in, twist it, flip the legs up. Just an absolute fantastic transformation, which also gives him some incidental articulation. He's got knees,
Exactly.
he's got elbows, rotating shoulders. Just a really, really fun little figure. I spent hours playing with Soundwave and cassettes and just everything. I loved them so much.
It's it is they're so good. So, so good. Even to this day, this is a brilliant toy. Like, if kids today would love this toy and play with it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
like, without feeling like they're, playing with grandpa's toys or something. Okay, next up is Megatron, another one of those kind of controversial toys, but maybe even more so in that this is the main bad guy and his robot mode is terrible.
Oh god, yes. I wasn't sure where you were going with that,
Oh,
but yeah,
sure,
no,
it's
no,
a gun
absolutely
too, like
100%.
wherever your
Yeah.
stance is on guns or
Well,
whatever.
because I was gonna counter. It was not controversial at all at the time.
No,
Uh,
absolutely, yeah, yeah.
there was
It's
a whole
wild
aisle.
though.
There was a whole aisle of guns,
That's
as
true.
toy guns as a kid. Like, you
That's
had your
true.
girl aisle, your boy aisle, your car aisle, and your
Yeah,
gun aisle. Like,
yeah.
that is just what it was. There was toy guns everywhere. So this was nothing unusual. It was expected.
No,
But yes,
it's
as a
true.
robot, there's some question marks. Yeah.
Well, I guess real quick on the gun part of it is wild when, I transfer my hold, like the Walther P38, and I'm not like a gun expert or anything, but I've seen a real Walther P38. It is like a really good model of a Walther P38. It's
Hmm.
kinda wild, and it holds in your hand, like, it has heft to it.
Yeah. Yeah. There's metal in there
Yeah.
for sure.
I was
Yeah.
like, "Damn, this
No,
is
and it's
wild."
not. I think it's a little undersized, but
Yeah.
it's not so undersized that you go, "Oh, they clearly designed this for a child's hand."
Yes,
It still
exactly.
fits fine in your hand as an adult.
Yes. It does. It really does. Um, so it's kind of like oh, how the times have changed or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
it's like this was a
Yeah,
toy
no,
for kids.
hey, look, I remember being a kid and you would go out and play guns,
Mhm.
right? Like, everybody go grab a gun, and so I'd
Yep.
go to my toy box and be like, "Do I want my Uzi? Do I want my other Uzi?
Yes.
Do I want my shotgun? Do I want my M16? Do I want my AK-47? Or am I gonna grab Megatron? Because
Okay.
Megatron is fine for playing guns outside. You just
Did you
don't put him in robot
okay, so was he passable? Because I was always a six-shooter cap gun guy. That was my go-to if we were
mode.
playing
It
guns.
depends on what we were playing, are
Okay.
we are we in the Old West? What are we doing, Jay?
I don't know, I just always like
I need to
the
know the premise before I grab. I just told you like 10 guns I have. I need to know what premise we're so I know which guns to grab. Cyberpunk. What do we do? Is time travel involved?
You're a lot more advanced than me. I was like, nice, like the
Yeah.
six shoot. And no matter the
Yeah.
storyline, I'm gonna be Wild Westing it up.
Yeah. Come back with my laser tag gun, my Megatron, and a 6-shooter. I'm ready for anything.
The laser tag gun is
Iconic. Yeah.
It's
Just
so
keep
good.
using that word.
It is so good. Like, it just the silhouette of the laser tag gun, and I know it's, like, part of your iconography with the helmet and everything.
Just incidentally, yeah.
Yeah, but, like, yeah, that gun design still just I remember the first time I saw it, it kinda has that silhouette that just sticks with you, like a Countach or whatever, just, like, just the look of it. It's so great.
Sleek and futuristic, and
Yes,
that red light on it when it
yes.
fires, and yeah, so good.
Um, uh, anyway, okay, but the robot mode, you said, you got this,
Yes.
so you had him.
So it's a sign of how things have changed. I remember when I got this guy for Christmas. Yeah, he's kind of a goofy looking robot mode, but I still loved him. I still loved playing with him. Didn't know exactly what to do. Like I didn't know as a kid because you don't really get this with the instruction booklet or anything. And I don't even
Mhm.
know if they mention it in, like commercials anywhere or whatever. But that his gun parts can be combined into a cannon that he
Yeah.
can use, or that because it was part of micro change. There's there's a seat, and the 4-inch tall Micro Man action figures can like man this as a cannon. That was the whole idea of that line in Japan, was that these were actual size objects,
Mhm.
and the
Yes.
Micro Men were actual sized. So Soundwave, Perceptor, Megatron, these
Mhm.
were actual things that they were utilizing around your room to fight the bad guys.
Gotcha,
And
okay.
so all of Megatron's parts, the stock, the silencer, the sight, you assemble into a cannon that, the 4-inch action figure can use.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, no, I that's so cool, like, I kinda like, I don't disagree with how they went about, like, setting up the mythology of Transformers stuff, but that's a really neat idea that these things are in scale items
Yes.
from the real
Yes.
world that, would transform into these things. Um, did you so this is, like, the official way to transform it, where you have the gun stock of the Walther P-38
Like kind of
underneath or
tucked
something?
under his armpit, pointing forward.
But you can transform it kind of how he looks
You
in the
can.
show
Yep.
with it behind. Did you do it that way, or did you do it this way, kind of under his
As
arm?
a kid, I don't think I really even paid attention to it. I probably did it this way because this was the instruction booklet way.
Yep,
But knowing that you can do that as an adult, I would probably stand it up
yeah.
out back. But I think this is also how it is on the package artwork, is tucked
Yes,
under his armpit
yes.
facing forward, because again, that was the official transformation. But as a sign of the times and the way things have changed, is my dad was in the Navy, and so Christmas break, I had gotten this toy for Christmas, and over Christmas break, my mom had a job, she had to go to work, and my dad
Mhm.
was still working in the Navy. He
Yeah.
had to go to work. And so my brother and I had to go to work with him once or twice over that sort of like Christmas break.
Mhm.
And I took my Megatron with me,
Oh,
like
shoot.
onto a Navy base, and sat there at my dad, at the extra desk in my dad's office playing with Megatron all day. And like, just nobody blinks, nobody cares. Like, everybody knows it's a toy. Everybody knows
Yeah.
this 10-year-old kid did not bring an actual Walther P-38 to work today. There's no threat that I might get shot by a cop or
Yep.
killed or anything. It was just like everybody knew what it was.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, to live in that world, once again. But any thoughts on Megatron before we move on to Skywarp
I
here?
think that's it. I think we covered it.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
And
Uh,
as far as the like, should he always be a gun because he was a gun at the
mm,
beginning? A tank makes so much more sense.
yes.
It makes so much more sense.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear jack friggin' crap from people who get pissed off if I post a picture of a non-transforming transformer. It's not a transformer if it doesn't actually transform. Yes, it is. I don't want to hear jack crap from anybody if you're going to insist that Megatron has to turn into a non-scale gun. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's so silly. Like the that new Megatron, the Studio Series Megatron that turns into a tank. It looks great as like the transform Megatron. So who
So that's what I'll
cares?
say, is like, I'm okay with tank mode as long as tank mode looks good. Like,
Yes.
there's definitely some where I'm like, you didn't even try on this tank mode. This is an awful tank mode. It's terrible. I think what was it? Combiner Wars, that first big Megatron from Combiner Wars. It was one of the
Mhm.
first videos we ever posted on our channel. In fact, it was the first video. I think it was the first video we ever shot. It
Okay.
was the second video we actually posted.
Mhm.
Was that deluxe Combiner Wars Megatron. And the tank mode on that is gorgeous. It is perfect. It's pivots. It's fantastic. And I have the DX9 upgrade kit on it, so
Mhm.
the robot mode looks even better. There's some wonkiness in the robot mode that I wish was better, but
Mhm.
to me, that's like a perfect modern interpretation of this character and that
Yeah.
concept.
Yeah, exactly. I think just you just let it be because it is silly. Like if you're not carrying over the whole point of this toy, which was that it's a real world thing, then who cares? Like
Who
just
cares?
the tank is a weapon that kills people too. So just
Yeah, I would say honestly, if you want to be that insistent that he's a gun, well, then you should sell Megatron as a non-transforming robot toy
mhm.
with a smaller gun that can be held by all the other
Sure.
characters.
Yeah.
It
No,
doesn't need to be a
absolutely.
full-size robot.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be a full-size gun. So
Yeah.
why even bother putting any transformation mechanisms in it?
Exactly. Exactly.
Case closed.
Also, a tank is kind of just a gun with wheels.
I know.
Calm down. All right, Skywarp, getting into our jet fighters. You said these appealed way more to you. Hard to argue against it. Did you have Skywarp, or was it just the
I think we had Skywarp and a knockoff Starscream.
okay?
It was
Okay.
definitely a knockoff because it did come with figures and
Yep.
it had extra decals on the wings that said like Eagle or Fighter or something like
Yeah.
that. And the colors were not quite right. It was very clearly supposed to be a Starscream knockoff, but the colors were a little off.
Mm-hmm.
Cool transformation. That whole bend the nose cone down, flip it up through the torso is a really, really neat thing. The arms
Mm-hmm.
flip out to the sides. Really, really cool piece of transformation there. But robot mode was always kind of left me wanting.
Yes. Did you lose the hands for this one?
Oh
Other
yeah, absolutely.
famous
Yeah, immediately.
hand.
The hands, the missiles, the rear
Yeah.
wings gone. Yeah, for sure.
But they're
I loved that it had the front landing gear, but that got lost too.
oh yeah, absolutely. But as a jet mode, it looks
With
good.
all the parts, looks fantastic. Yeah. Really, really cool. Great F-15 Eagle.
Yeah, she's a beaut. She's a beaut. All right, let's go to a favorite
The
of
best.
many.
The number one best.
Yeah, it's hard to argue against it. Soundwave, just from a robot design stand, like when I think Transformers, and I know it's Optimus Prime is like the most iconic or whatever, but like this Soundwave is like 1A, 1B for me, just because the look of the character, from his face, he has kind of the samurai face thing, the incidental articulation, the fact that he contains the cassette tapes, which are also some of the best Transformers that you can have, and then on the show he has the coolest freaking voice.
Mm.
Like it is so like incredible. I'd be hard pressed for anyone to tell me there's not a cooler, or there is a cooler Transformer than Soundwave.
It's, over the years, there's been that issue with, oh, he's dead technology. Kids don't even know what tape players are anymore. And I always just want to make the argument like, who cares?
Yeah, I don't.
He doesn't have to be a cassette player anymore. He just dispenses little cubes. Who
Yeah,
cares? Like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter anymore. It just, that is what he is. But I know that, puts me in the column of being like, you're an old guy. You can't adapt. You can't change. Fine, whatever. It just, he
Mm,
is, to me, the cassette player, just, that is what he is. And he has cassettes and I can't move past that. Everything about it, the fact that in tape deck mode, like all of his robot bits are concealed, everything is hidden. You can't
yes.
see his face, you can't see his hands, you can't see his feet from the front, from the back. You turn Sideswipe over, you turn Optimus around, you can see the other bits that they're trying to hide, but Soundwave has it all hidden up. The mechanism, the
Mhm.
button to release the actual cassette part, the
Yes.
door there,
Yeah.
the buttons on the front, play, rewind, and all that stuff. They don't do anything, but they had some give, right? So like they
Mhm.
felt like you could push them in, and there's holes on the side to, at least I think the original version had. I don't know if they had it in successive versions, but you could actually plug headphones into it.
Yeah.
It had the little knob that moved, didn't do anything, but you had the knob that moved, and it was just so
Yes.
convincing.
Yes.
The rocket launcher and the blaster as batteries. You
The
had to
batteries.
take
It's
that battery compartment open, put them
brilliant.
in there. It was just everything about it was just so well thought out. And yes, it basically is a guy that turns into rectangle who dispenses rectangles that turn into animals. I get it, and it's brilliant, and I love it, and it's the best thing that's
Like
ever been
you're
invented.
saying that like someone could like make that as like a negative. That's cool as
Yeah, no,
hell.
it's so good. Everything about him, like I said, incidental articulation, except that hips and elbows
Sure.
and a turning neck, and just it's just everything about him is cool.
Uh, yeah. The I didn't mean like clock. You're right. The batteries turning into the shoulder cannon or whatever. Like he just looks cool. He
Mhm.
looks cool. Like is his head the like as close to the iconography of just like a Transformer face, you know?
I think it's pretty close to the Decepticon logo kind
Yeah,
of face. It's not it, but it is, he's got sort of got
close.
those crest horns sort of on his head, but I just love it so much. And one of the few things that I really feel like they did actually improve on the masterpiece version of this. I mean, the masterpiece version is a masterpiece.
It
It's
is.
an incredible figure. The fact that you can fit 3 cassettes in his chest on that masterpiece version just absolutely blew me away. That was one of those
Mhm,
like dream come true kinds of things where it was like, oh
mhm.
man, if they could have done that as a kid, holy cow! If I could have put 3 tapes in there, get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and the thing is like, Gen Z kids, or just music in general, like, cassette tapes have kind of had a resurgence a la records,
Mm,
unfortunately, like, cassette tapes just records, I think, are the best sounding when done right, ways to have physical media for music. Cassette tapes, not so much, but still, like, to say you can't do it because kids wouldn't get it. Now, cassette tapes are still around. Like, you can
yeah.
see them. They sell them at Target and stuff. Like the latest, I don't know, Sabrina Carpenter album. She's got like cassette tapes versions of it or whatever. So, like, come on, it's he's a cassette tape player. Just let it be.
So
Let it
I just
be.
love it so much. I always feel bad though for Buzzsaw because Laserbeak is because of the show
Mhm.
is way more associated with being like
Absolutely.
Soundwave and Megatron's like guy, Laserbeak, do this for me, be my eyes, whatever. And Buzzsaw is just like everybody just forgets about Buzzsaw.
Well, because was he even in the show?
I don't think so.
And gold is cool. Gold and black's a cool look. Gold,
Hmm.
black,
Hmm.
silver, solid. But just the laser beak with the red and the black,
Hmm.
it's better.
Yep. Here you are doing it again.
I'm
Just making Buzzsaw feel like he doesn't
so
matter.
sorry. Buzz, I'm sorry. I can't
He's a
speak.
pretty bird, Jay. He's a pretty bird.
Pretty bird. Pretty bird. Um, all right. We got next up, we got Starscream. Uh
Same thing as
yeah,
Skywarp and Thundercracker.
all of
Just
them.
a really, really cool, well-engineered thing. Brilliant sales model as well. Playing on that, Masters of the Universe, just reuse the same mold, paint it different, kind of idea of toy economy.
Is he the best colorway out of all of them, though?
Personally no. I prefer
Okay.
Skywarp and Thundercracker to
Okay.
Starscream for sure.
I
Can't beat
just
that blue, can't beat that black.
it is hard, like, I get that. I don't know why, I this colorway always just connected to me more, but I wouldn't argue with anyone in any of the other ones, um, but still, no, it's cool, the robot mode's kinda the same,
Yeah.
little kinda funky, but kinda there. There's worse in the bunch, and then, last of the Jets, we've got Thundercracker. So out of the 3, which one would you say is the best for you?
Just in terms of deco, I would probably go Skywarp, Thundercracker, Starscream.
Starscream
Just
last, okay.
personal preference, yeah.
Um, that blue is real nice.
Yeah, the blue with the black, so sharp.
Yeah, looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And that wraps up 1984. That's a banger of a year, one we've talked about it a few times,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
is like everything's there pretty much, in terms of, like, what you characters you associate with Transformers. It's pretty much
Just
all there in
hit
one.
after hit after hit after hit, just incredible.
Yeah.
It's no wonder that, it was the phenomenon that it was, just does it succeed without the cartoon? Probably not, probably not.
Mhm.
I do think the cartoon had a lot to do with its success.
Yep.
But by themselves, just objectively, just a fantastic round of toys.
Like, so what do you think it was the tune? Because there's, I mean, it's been done to death. Like the why Transformers succeeded and GoBots didn't. Do you think that was the main differentiating factor? Was the tune, or
I guess you have to define success. I would still say GoBots succeeded. I mean, not to the degree that Transformers succeeded, obviously, but you know, for those first couple of years, they were sort of neck and neck in sales.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fair. I guess
But
it's funny that one continued and one just
well, I think what happens there is, you know, Popey wasn't making new stuff anymore, and you know, so Tonka starts making their own things, and there's no more Machine Robo to import. Takara still has this partnership with Hasbro where they just start making new stuff that fits in with everything that's come before, and they're triple changers and, you know, pretenders, and they're just all these new kinds of gimmicks and stuff. Meanwhile, Tonka is rolling out like plastic cap guns and bubble launchers and
yeah.
like, what are you even doing? You know, they tarnished their own brand and ran it into the ground and gave it that sort of cheap association that so many people have with it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So year one, incredible, a lot of great stuff here. We haven't done it in a while, a little price game, because I think Transformers especially, and I just remember as a kid, like any of the bigger ones, just I remember my parents saying those are too expensive. Like that's just like, an expensive toy. It's not a like unlike, and it's not. I'm not saying it wasn't justifiable, but like when you're talking like play set level money for a character.
Yeah, or like, oh, should I get a Hound or a Skystriker? You know,
Yeah, and it's a tough blend there. I didn't know any kids that had a large G1 collection, just because it meant you had like, I don't know, you're sitting on $1,000 of inventory or whatever, adjusted for inflation. But just a couple guesses here. Let's do one of the vehicles. Jazz. What do you think his original retail price was?
I'm gonna go 15.
It's probably $10 to $13.
Okay. Okay. All right.
And adjusted for inflation, that is so just a little Jazz. Just for like $40.
I mean, it's about, we're almost there, right? I mean,
yeah.
What are I don't even know what the classes are of Transformers anymore. All I know is that brand new Gears, whatever class that is, has been sitting on the pegs at my Walmart for a while now, and the nostalgia in me that knows, that was my guy, my first Transformer, I should grab that one. I'm just like, $25 or whatever he is. I was like, I don't want to spend that much.
Right?
Let's see if I can get this off the blister.
Some habits die hard, right? Okay, mini vehicles, the minis.
I guess I'm gonna go $5.
$5, $2.99.
$2.99. All right, yeah.
Just for inflation, $9.30.
Okay, yeah.
How about Optimus Prime?
I guess I'll go 20.
A little bit low there, $23.99. So adjusted for inflation, if you want the leader of the Autobots, in today's dollars, that would have been $75.
Holy cow! Is Megatron the same? Do you have that price there?
I do. He's a little bit less. He's at $21.95.
Okay, that's expensive Christmas, yeah.
Right? If you have both. So I'll adjust him. So that's $68. So yeah, that's spendy. And again, just in terms of scale of what you're getting, you know, you could have the entire Motu cast and Grayskull.
Yeah, exactly.
Optimus and Megatron.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. And I'm sure that's sort of where I was. Like, do you want one Transformer or 5 G.I. Joe guys? You know?
Yeah. Exactly. And it's just more play value there. But you know, it did well enough. You didn't need to sell as much. It's like mattress stores where they only sell one mattress a month to make money. That's same idea there. All right. Well, that wraps up year one. Dan, any final thoughts?
Just Hall of Fame, obviously. Iconic. I can't say it enough, from the designs to the show to the comics to the rollout to the pop culture impact, all that stuff. It obviously was such a big deal. We're still talking about it 40 years later. They're still chasing that high of that first wave, and what it meant to the kids who were there. And that we talked about Missing Link a few times. I don't think we talked about Missing Link Optimus. You know, that was the first one that came out, and I don't know how deep they're going to go with all that. Like, More coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, I hope they do. I think it's really cool.
But yeah, just an incredibly fantastic batch of toys. Hard to call them action figures, toys. I think these really fit more of that toy category.
Yep, agree. Because they don't have as much action.
No.
Sometimes they do, but yeah, no, I agree. It's an all timer. Again, out of all of them, it is the one IP that is kind of not lost any, not to say luster, but like it still works. It still works today. Like there's no like, I don't know if Sword and Sorcery can work, or I don't know if
The
G.I. Joe
big
can work.
two, and I think it has a lot to do with the movies and television shows and stuff
Mhm.
over the years, is always going to be Kenner Star Wars and
Yeah.
Transformers.
Yeah.
As someone who's been a dealer, you've been a dealer,
Yep.
you've had your share of that.
Mhm.
It's Kenner Star Wars and Transformers.
Yeah.
Whenever I could get my hands on that stuff as a dealer, I was psyched.
Yeah,
'Cause I
exactly.
knew
Exactly.
easy
Yep.
sales, good money for sure.
Mhm. Agreed, agreed. All right, well, that's gonna end year one, 1984. Next week, we'll jump into 1985 and joined by co-host of the unannounced Secret Galaxy live stream. Mike Case will be joining
And
us.
the announced ones.
And the you're right, unannounced and announced Saturday streams. So that should be a ton of fun. As always, hit subscribe and the bell if you're watching this on YouTube, or write a review if you're listening on any of the podcasting apps. Big thanks to Allison Troy, who does our research. We'll see you guys next time. Hasta luego and goodbye.
Later.